This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You are always scum. Rebel scum.
James, it's been a month. Still haven't finished reading the Cavan Scott High Republic book. Reading is for nerds.
Yeah. I don't like reading because it is for nerds.
I like football and crushing beers and getting chicks, man. This is the Rebel Scum Podcast where we talk about being bros. Yeah, no, I need to get back on that. I really want to finish reading it.
I think you just got canceled.
I just got canceled.
You just got canceled. Oh my gosh. Deal with it, yo.
I'm trying to think of like what is the quintessential way to get canceled. I'm like
everything. Just open your mouth.
Punched a dog in the face today.
Oh, just open your mouth and you're canned. It's over. You can't. But yeah, I know. Anyway, that's great news that you're gonna have to relearn how to read. You are an avid reader, but you're busy with work, right? Like that's your excuse is work right now.
But that's not even an excuse because I have the book on my devices.
Yeah, but if you're working, you can't just stop working and go on your phone. I mean, you probably do.
Occasionally, I can.
Yeah, I mean, there's moments, but look, reading a book, you have to. I don't know. You want to enjoy it and remember what you read because there's been a lot of times like traveling and stuff. I'm like, I'll read. I can't read while I'm traveling. That's a lie because I get car sick, but. For sake of argument, there are times when I'm like doing whatever, but I'm half paying attention. Then you finish, you put it away, and you're like, "What the hell did I read?" Then you're on the next chapter. You're like, "Did I miss an entire portion of this book?" And you go back and you have to reread it. So, I get it. You hate Cavan Scott.
I do, because he ruined my childhood.
He ruined mine too.
He told me Bruce Willis was a ghost. What's up, nerds? This is the Rebel Scum Podcast, episode 207. Seven. All right.
We're not that far.
I'm Brock.
I'm James.
I'm Brock. This is James. Star Wars.
Oh, but let's sidetrack from Star Wars. The Snyder Cut's being released this week.
Oh,
I'll tie it into Star Wars in a second.
And you've been plaguing me with you should watch the trailer. I'm like,
I never said no. I said don't watch the trailer. Don't put words in my mouth.
No, you plague me with links. You plague me.
No, I know, and then you told me you were gonna watch it, so I stopped, and then I'm just like, dude. I'll say, look, the reality is I love Man of Steel, I love Batman and Superman. I know a lot of people don't. And I feel and the reviews for Snyder Cut are very this is tying into Star Wars, don't get me wrong. And so, but I do feel like a lot of people aren't going to like the Snyder Cut, and they'll be like, "I told you it was going to be bad from the start." But I think if it's anything like those two movies that I just mentioned, I think you like Zack Snyder films also. You're one of the few people I know that loves Sucker Punch. You were like
which is like. It's amazing that he hasn't been canceled for that movie because there's a lot of problematic things in that movie.
Maybe we shouldn't have brought it up, but so we are not. It's not. It's like us reviewing a Star Wars. It's not fair. I think we're both looking forward to it, and we're both probably going to enjoy it. I'm honestly thinking I'm like 90% putting my projector up to enjoy it. Like 4 hours of my life, I might as well watch it on the. On a 100-inch screen. That's the size of my projector. But the screen that I have is 100 inches. So it's not the biggest, but it's twice as big as my TV. But I watched Birds of Prey that way, and it was a lot of fun. Anyway, so it's coming. It's going to be awesome. The thing that's exciting about it is it's Zack Snyder. It's not. I don't think it's wholly his vision because obviously scripting and whatnot, the studio would have had notes and stuff like that. But I think the overall edit is the Snyder Cut is officially the Snyder Cut. He had full creative control towards the end of it. So I want to equate this to Star Wars now, and that I've seen people be like, Star Wars needs this. And do you think that a movie like maybe Rise of Skywalker, do you think there's an Abrams cut exists of that, or are they being honest with us when they say that one does not?
Oh, I don't know. That's an interesting question. I think more people would be like, "Give us the Trevorrow cut," but how do you do that? Because
you have to reshoot the whole thing. Well, because Rogue One, Rogue One definitely, there is another cut of Rogue One. I think there's something of Rogue One. I don't think I want to watch that though.
I don't know. I didn't buy Rise of Skywalker because now I have Disney Plus. Is there deleted scenes or anything?
No, but there's like this Chewie thing that they shot that's come to light.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like there's things. Here's the thing. The way I always go into these movies is most of the time when you watch a movie, that is the cut of the movie. Every once in a while, you get the Blade Runner director's cut, final, all that. There's an instant like that. There's an instance. The Snyder Cut clearly is an example. Ayer apparently has a cut of Suicide Squad, and the one that I am most intrigued over all of them is the Batman Forever Schumacher cut, which is like an extra 45 minutes, and apparently it's a lot darker. I love that movie. Yeah. I really want to see that if that exists. So every once in a while, I think there is a version of a movie that a director prefers over the theatrical one, but I think most of the time they are like, well, that's it. And I personally, Brock, believe that The Rise of Skywalker is what it ended up being is the movie that J.J. Abrams intended to give us. Mm-hmm. I'm confident there are things he wished he did differently in this and that, and that's probably true of every movie that you've ever seen. But I just feel like, I know everyone's like, well, they wanted it to be short and this and that, and maybe because Last Jedi, I believe, was the longest Star Wars film, even though it made $1.5 billion. Why they would want to change it up. And then you have Endgame, which is 17 hours long, I believe, and that's now the second highest grossing movie of all time.
Oh God!
But whatever, who cares? Where it is doesn't matter. It's the amount of money that it made, right? Yeah. And both like the number one grossing movie of all time and number two, whether or not they swap between now and the end of time, they're both 18 hours long. They're both super long movies. So I feel like this argument of, and I like short movies, but the argument of a movie has to be short for it to make money is bogus. And I don't know why the heads of, whether it was Disney or Lucasfilm, why they would dictate and demand that they make a really short movie. But then, to go back to the Snyder Cut, Brock, when Zack Snyder was doing Justice League, apparently sometime in like the editing or something, Warner Brothers said this has to be 2 hours. And he was like, what? And then apparently, I think that's when they started sliding Joss Whedon in to do things and whatever. We won't get into that because that's not what this is about. But so at the same time, while I don't believe it, Warner Brothers proved that, there's still value in more showtimes in a theater, even though the highest grossing movies of all time exceed that by almost double.
Yeah. I think you're right. Like, there has to be more to Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, like the Chewbacca storyline where he gets taken, and then like what else was I thinking of? Hux. Like, there's gotta be more to that. They're like, oh, so you're gonna like, it's gonna turn out that you are the one that's feeding them information, and then you're gonna die seconds later. Like, no one has ever written that. It's like, you're gonna, unless it's a joke where it's like, I've been the guy all along, and like, bang, you're dead. Like, or like, I think there could be more to maybe not oh God, I can't even remember the characters. Who's the girl that rides the horse?
Janna?
That's on Janna, thank you. There could be more to Janna's story in the movie, not outside of the movie. There could be more Rose stuff, right? Like, and Leia stuff, but obviously it's tricky with Carrie Fisher being passed.
So they do claim that Rose got cut a lot because this is what they claim. So if I don't want to hear it, But what the claim is that she got cut a lot because the stuff with her was mostly with Leia and it didn't work. They couldn't get it to work. So if that exists, it exists in a way that doesn't work. And would you even want to watch that? But who knows? Maybe in 10 years it does work, right? Maybe eventually we get to that point where it does work. I don't know, because I don't know in what facet it doesn't work. And then, yeah, you might be right about the Jenna stuff. I just think, though, with the Rise of Skywalker, whatever you think of it, I think that the biggest issues that it has are not resolved in anything that I've heard that they've shot. Jenna, fine, you flesh that out. That's great. Does it? The thing is, ultimately, does Jenna need fleshing out more?
No.
Exactly. The Chewie scene with Kylo, yeah, it adds a dynamic and another dimension to their relationship, but we never really get their relationship at all in all three movies. So, like, okay, it's great, but again, what's the point of it? Hux, you might be right, but I haven't heard there is anything else of that. I think they might have just done that because I honestly feel like that is J.J. Abrams being like, you know what would be clever? And that's how I feel. I think it's like, it was clever. And they did it because they're like, oh, you're the spy. Bam. This guy's smart enough to figure it out right away, even though he would have been smart enough to figure it before he revealed it, whatever. So I don't think there's any more of that. So, I mean, really, what do we want more of? Palpatine explanation, which I don't think exists, because I think if everything we heard was true, it was kind of, they were kind of told Palpatine's the bad guy. And I feel like this is Venom in Spider-Man 3, where they're like, well, I don't want that. Let's just put him in. And then they just kind of like throw it in there without reason. And that's what you get. You get a filmmaker doing something they don't feel like. And so I as much as I would like to believe that there is this, I don't know about, like, this other cut of this movie, I just don't think there is. And I think, honestly, if there is, there's going to be more Jenna. There's going to be that Chewie torture scene and maybe a couple other things. That'll be great for storylines. It'd be like the Hobbit extended cuts, where they're great to watch on DVD a year later, but in the theater, you're like, I'm kind of glad they weren't in the theater, because that would have added an extra half hour to what I was already in there for. So, that's how I feel about it.
I can't remember. Is Justice League deemed a bomb?
Yeah.
Did it do well?
No, it made like $100 million in the opening weekend, I think.
That makes sense. Like, Rise of Skywalker might not have made the most money, but like
it made a lot.
It still did make money. So it's like, why would we return to that at all? Especially since like the fans don't seem to like, oh, I don't like it. It's like, what, are we gonna start from scratch? Like, if they didn't like the original thing, why would we, like, an extended cut? Like, because like Snyder Cut seems to be doing the opposite, where it's just like there is way more. Right?
Yeah, it's twice as long.
And there's two directors, so like that's like I would definitely like to see Rogue One, the original cut, and I would like to see
Solo?
Lord and Miller's Solo. Like, even if it's not finished, he's like, show it to me, and that'd be cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the footage. I don't know if I want to watch it as a movie, because I think ultimately there is a reason why things.
Sure.
Like, there's a reason why they said this isn't working. Now, the Solo, they're both of them seem very different. The Solo one might have been, it feels like there was a lot of issues in a lot of different ways, and I think what they were doing would have worked on maybe even like a lesser known Marvel character, but I think Star Wars Han Solo, it doesn't work so much.
No.
But then I think the Rogue One thing was the polar opposite, where they were like, this is going to be a war movie, and I feel like they went too dark and gritty on Rogue One, and that's when they had to pull away from that. So I'm curious to see the footage. I doubt we ever will, and on some level, I'm kind of okay with that, because I talk to people, and they're always like, "Whoa, Kathleen Kennedy is ruining Star Wars," and you always get that narrative, because that's the only thing YouTube allows you to watch, is Kathleen Kennedy's ruining Star Wars. Somebody could have proof on the total opposite, but YouTube would guide you in the negative way anyway. And I think that they just shoved us to the bottom of the barrel, which they've done anyway. So it's just like, I think too much information, public information on the behind the scenes. And I said this before, and I've said this about the Justice League movie with Superman's mustache. Like, the minute that's there, that's what you're looking for. And you're looking for it. You see it, And then every other time that character's on the screen, you're like, is that the mustache? Is that, I think I see it. And then it's not, because that's probably a Snyder, but it doesn't matter because now that's all you can think about every time he's in it. And it takes away from the movie. It's same in Solo. I think it happened to Solo. I don't think that's the reason why Solo failed the way it did. Failed, quote unquote. But I think it didn't help it knowing that the directors were fired right halfway through shooting. I don't like it. Just, I mean, I don't know how you hide that, but it just, I don't know. It's we're starting to. What you used to watch Entertainment Tonight, like as a kid, and it'd be like, oh my god, look, they're making Hook, and he's Peter Pan's old, blah, blah. And you would just see them making the movie, and they always be like smiling, which is obviously not what it is, but but that's what. But when you see that, it's all those shows used to be basically promoting the movies, right? Like they were just like a way to promote it, so there was nothing negative. Now we've just like skewed in the complete opposite direction. Everything is about negativity. Negativity sells. I saw some dirty tweets today about some dirty things. And you're just like, why did they write that? Because negativity is what gets the clicks, and that's what sells. And that's all anyone cares about anymore. And it's gross.
It is.
It's gross. It's gross.
Yeah. I think I said this to you. I'm excited for Snyder Cut, but I'm also excited for it to be over. It's like, I don't want to hear about this anymore.
Oh yeah, no, it's
because I could be wrong. I don't think they want to continue on with this narrative in Justice League anyways. I could be wrong, right? Like that's the thing, is they've pretty much moved on. Like Flash is going to reboot it or whatever. Zack Snyder's like, I'm pretty much done. But apparently this ends on a cliffhanger. Because Zack Snyder, God bless him, was just like, I'm going to do whatever I want. And he did. And apparently it ends on a cliffhanger. Sorry, Brock, to spoil that. But the thing is, all I've read, like, there's been a lot of reviews have come out. They've been most of them have been very positive. And they're all saying, well, now there's a problem because this is very good. Do you continue this? And then Ben Affleck, like we were talking before about Hollywood and whatnot, and Zack Snyder seems to be a really nice person that people genuinely enjoy working with and for. And like Ben Affleck was basically done being Batman completely. Like he made that pretty public that he was done with it and made him an alcoholic again, like, and all this stuff. And Zack Snyder comes back to do this. No, apparently he had problems, but Justice League didn't help is what I think he said. Mm-hmm. But Zack Snyder comes back and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, what do I want me to do? I'll do it. And him and Jared Leto agreed to do their like reshoots and stuff for Zack Snyder for no money. I think they got paid, but they both agreed to come back, or Jared Leto just agreed to do it. Scale.
But like they were like, yeah, we'll just do it. Yeah. So I think that speaks to Zack Snyder and look, if I don't know how you gauge if this is a hit or not, but it's curious to see what they do, because they could also play with this world, and Disney could do this as well with Star Wars. You just like, okay, Zack Snyder, you and your Justice League pals go make some HBO Max movies, and Matt Reeves, you go make your theatrical stuff. Patty Jenkins theatrical, go for it, have at her. I'm down for that. The more the merrier is what I always say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think we've said it over and over again. It's like, we need to move on. Like, it's like the trilogy's done. Like, let's go to the next thing. And it's, for so far, it's working out. So it's like, why are we like belaboring this point? Like, just let it go.
For what? Snyder or Star Wars?
For Star Wars.
I honestly think the fans are the ones holding it. I think Lucasfilm has moved on from the sequel trilogy.
Oh yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
And if they haven't, it's dumb, because you have the Rogue Squadron movie coming, and Mandalorian is. I mean, you don't even compare Mandalorian to the sequel trilogy, because first of all, it's not really fair, and secondly, there's no point. But you just look at it and you go, okay, you did the sequel trilogy and the spinoffs, and they I think they worked because they made billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But people were pissed off and blah, 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 blah. And then The Mandalorian comes, and overwhelmingly positive. There's still some negative and blah, blah, but there's always going to be that. And so why wouldn't you just ride that train while it's heading from the station. Why would you dwell on a story that's complete? Whether you like how it ended or not, that story is complete. Why would you go back and dwell on that anymore when you have this Mandalorian train going, you have your High Republic with Acolyte, Obi-Wan, Cassian, all these different avenues now to explore. I'm with you. There's no point to look back.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I guess from a business sense of it, like they do have to appease the stockholders and what have you, and like hearing the internet badmouth like the main product. It's like what's happening here? People aren't happy. The customers aren't happy. Oh, the customers are never happy.
That's what's is interesting is movie theaters are, they're dead at the moment.
Yeah.
But Marvel is still gung-ho on Black Widow being theatrical, right? Is that May again? Is that still May?
I think so.
It's like this.
I'm just sort of like, why? Like, no slam against anyone in that movie, but I'm like, no, who wanted that movie? Like, I didn't.
I'm sure, but the thing is, it probably would have made $1 billion anyway because it's Marvel.
I
was thinking about WandaVision, and WandaVision was fun. If WandaVision was a DC movie, that thing would have been destroyed left, right, and center. Left, right, and center. That thing would be destroyed. But anyway, no, Black Widow though, they really want that to come out. Eternals, but the director's probably going to win an Oscar. But But like, just they're gung ho on the theater experience. And whether or not we're ready to go see movies by Black Widow's release, I don't know. I feel like that's going to get the Disney Plus premiere and theater. I think they're going to do that. I can't see them not doing that.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I just it's going to be up to those movies to get people back into the theater at some point.
Yeah, sure.
But I would also put that on Star Wars as well. Star Wars and Marvels are the Marvels. Star Wars and Marvel, the two big tentpole franchises. They're the ones that make Avatar. But Avatar is I don't know. Like, it's been 10 years more since the first Avatar. Is it still going to make, like, are people going to flock to it like they did the first one? I have no idea. I'm guessing it'll make good money, but I don't know. So I'm going to stick with Star Wars and Marvel, the two franchises that are going to I think when we're ready are going to make or break theaters.
Yeah, like I guess Dune could do that as well. I don't know. It looks like
Dune's going to be HBO Max though. Like, it's HBO Max.
No, I know they are now, but like, because they want to put it out right
in December though.
But it could change, right? Because now the world seems to think that we'll be okay by the fall, or like getting back to normal by the fall. I mean, we'll see, but
the thing is, what is normal?
Yeah, exactly. Going to the movies.
Like, I've already decided, I think in August I'm going to rent the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
I'm just going to... Well, I mean, look, if the world changes and I can go to the theater in August, I will. But for the time being, I'm going to rent it. I'm going to have my... It's going to be an outside movie, like outside. Yeah. Because it's August. I can do it.
Like the reality is like, if you were to go to the movies with someone, so with you, maybe it's Aaron, right? That's like $30. Maybe less where you are, but like typically 2 people going to the movies is $30. Right? 30 Canadian dollars, so that's $5 American dollars.
It's somewhere around there.
Yeah, whatever, so it's like, if they can get you $30 from you at home, then I don't think they want to leave the theaters to die, but like, I think you could still deem it as a success. So some people don't want to pay $30 for a rental, even though it's like, it's the same technical experience, except you're not in a theater, but you're seeing the content. So that's
$30 for us in the States. If you have HBO Max, you're just getting those movies. They don't do the premiere like Disney.
That's the other kick in the stomach. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, but we just don't have the opportunity to pay for another streaming service. So
yeah.
I mean, it's it's tough for theaters. I know they're mad, but also, then like Christopher Nolan's like, well, they should still be coming out in the theater. Warner Brothers making a mistake. I'm like, are you delusional? There's a pandemic going on. No one's Tenet. If you like Tenet, great. If you didn't, great. I don't care. I enjoyed it. But no one wanted to go see it because there was a pandemic and it had nothing to do with the quality of the movie. It was like, exactly. Well, there's a pandemic. I'm not going to go see it. Okay.
And if Avatar can hit a new record because they re-released it again
in China, in China,
but like it's the same idea where it's like they're releasing it again. So there's no reason why in say 2022 all the things that were supposed to come out in 2020 can't be released again and they can make their money again. I know that's not how the box office works, but like it's weird comparing Endgame to Avatar because Avatar has been out for 10 years, like you said, and then re-released, and then that affects the numbers. But then Avengers was in like every theater and had like 5 or 6 theaters going. So it's like, of course it made a lot of money. If it's able to like get people into like 3 theaters in a individual theater, 3 screens in a theater, then yeah, it's gonna make a ton of money. It's like I know you put inflation in all that, and it's just like, but it's just like those movies, of course they succeed because they're built to succeed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just like, yeah, like I don't know, like an indie darling movie only does well if it gets a lot of like buzz, like award buzz or whatever. Like, but still, it will never reach those numbers. So it's like, there's no reason why you can't release Tenet and what else came out? Wonder Woman 84 in the summer of 2022 and still not make some money. I don't know. It's just
I think Wonder Woman did come out in the theater though. It did both. But
you know what I mean,
I do.
Normal theater.
But Tenet is coming out on HBO Max on May 1st. It's so weird.
Sorry, on Blu-ray?
No, on HBO Max. It's on Blu-ray now. But that's just weird. No, I know. But Zack Snyder said he wants the Snyder Cut released in IMAX at some point. So maybe that'll happen. I see what you're saying. The problem, though, is that there's so many movies piling up now. It's going to be, here's the thing. If everybody goes to the theater in 2022 or whenever it's safe to go again, there's going to be too many movies to make money. Because every week you're going to get like 3 blockbusters. And all of a sudden it's like, how is this going to make its money back?
I mean, if you can, well, yeah, that's a whole other thing. Like, just forget about that. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, that's not our problem.
No,
we just want to go back to normal, right?
Though. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just like, but it's like, compared to the Roaring 20s where people were just like, I need entertainment all the time. So it's like, perhaps there'll be people that be like, I saw 3 movies this week. It's like, whoa.
Probably Rob.
Like, yeah. No, like a guy like Rob will go to the movies every day.
Yeah.
I've like really just been like, when this is normal, I want to 1 week where I eat at a new restaurant every night and go to a movie every night.
Yeah, I want to go see a movie in the theater. Restaurant food I can do without, but the movie I do want to. Like I said, like I said I would rent Suicide Squad, Mortal Kombat. I probably won't, but I want to. But those I'd rather go see. Like I would rather go see Mortal Kombat in the theater with a group of friends than watch it alone on my couch and be yeah, cool, okay. You know what I mean? Like there's that experience. And actually, if you hear Tarantino talk about the Joker movie, and he talks about that scene on the Murray Show, and he's like, if you didn't see that scene in the theater, you're missing out. And it's like, because there's just this experience of like when you watch a horror movie in a crowd of people, there's the tension in the theater, right? You can feel it. In the comedy, you're all laughing together. There's an experience that that we've missed out on for a year, and there's a concern that I think a lot of people can forget that experience is part of what makes movies fun. I always say watching a movie on a plane sucks. Part of the reason is that the white noise the whole time. The other part is there's no one to enjoy it with. You're alone with headphones on. Like, and that's why when I watch movies on a plane, I actually prefer watching movies I've seen 1,000 times. Hello, Die Hard. Because I know what to expect and I can just fall into it and enjoy it. Whereas a new movie, it's harder because there's no one to bounce your thoughts off of. Even if you're not communicating, the expression's still there, the noise is still there. So there's a lot, and that's besides the screen and the sound, which most people nowadays have big screens and sound systems in their houses anyway. So that is a lesser factor, I think, to a lot of people. And a lot of people are like, well, let's just watch it on our big screen with the surround sound. So I think they could justify it that way. And Costco, Brock, sells 4-foot bags of movie theater popcorn also for $7 or $14. So you don't even need that.
One day.
Maybe. I don't know. If the pandemic ends. Saw a video saying the pandemic was going to end any minute now.
They have a clock.
Well, I think we can't get vaccinated to August here?
Well, that's the thing. That's originally what like our age group was, but then like right after the states said they'll be all done by May, like Canada said that we'll all be vaccinated by Canada Day, which is July 1st or July 1st.
My parents Tuesday got vaccinated this week.
Yeah, my parents are getting vaccinated soon too, but they don't have a date yet, I think. I don't know.
My parents are going to the pharmacy on Tuesday, so we'll see. But I know a friend of ours, Len, he got vaccinated in November. A lot of friends.
Our friend Marissa's had both.
Oh, I see how it is. She gets to see the Solo trailer before us, and she gets vaccinated before us. I see how it is. That's cool.
Not Marissa, her mom.
Oh, her mom. I see how it is. But she's a nurse. She's a nurse. Yeah. She has a reason to priority access for sure. Okay, well that's good. No, it's good. Because everybody, everyone's concerned about side effects and whatnot. So
yeah, I mean,
I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, this isn't a vaccination show. Star Wars is
the
here.
Vaccination examination. Star Wars.
I can't wait to live again in some capacity. Just it sucks, man. It's just like I haven't been anywhere really. I went to Walmart last week and I'm just like, ugh. It's just like I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Like I used hand sanitizer before all this. Like I always had one in my pocket, and for Christmas I would get like 7 bottles of them. Now it's harder to get them. But I'm happier now because there's sanitization stations everywhere, and I'm just like, bam, and like you didn't touch anything, bam. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I actually got a dirty look at the LCBO, the liquor store, when I went there last because I used it on my way in, halfway through my visit, and then on my way out. And I was like, what? And I didn't touch anything other than the bottle I got. I didn't touch anything after the second time I used it.
Yeah.
Whatever. I would rather wash my hands with soap and water, but you don't give me that option. So there you go. There was a home hardware though that had a cooler filled with water and a thing. And then they brought in like a sink. I guess they just weren't going to sell the sink. So they brought in the sink and they had a makeshift station. And I was like, the cooler looked dirty, but whatever.
Yeah, the Canadian Tire in Mississauga, one of them did that too in the summer. So it's like, that's smart.
Yeah, I mean, better than gross. Ugh, people are gross. Let's not forget that. People are gross. That's why I'll never go to a movie theater again.
I thought you froze.
No, it's holding out today. It's great. Do you want to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi or do you want to save that?
Save it. Maybe there'll be more information.
We had a lot of stuff to talk about.
It's a rumor.
No, but I think comparing comparing Justice League Snyder Cut with Rise of Skywalker. I think people, because I've seen a lot of people being like, we need the Abrams cut, and I just don't think that exists. I think there are deleted scenes. I do think, even though we said, I do think like more Jana, that Hux thing you mentioned, which may or may not exist, I don't know. The Chewie thing, I think they would enhance the viewing experience, but I just don't think they would change the movie.
No.
In a way that would make it or break. Like, if you don't like it, you're not going to like it because of those scenes, and if you like it, you're probably still going to like it. Like, it's not going to change anyone's opinion of it whatsoever. So, and I mean, comparing it to the Lord of the Rings and the special editions for Star Wars, I don't know why they haven't done anything to any of their Star Wars movies. You have Disney Plus now. They got like. McClunky is the only new thing we got from any of the original 6 movies. Yeah. Now you have to say original 6. But I mean, I don't know if they're legally allowed to touch those 6 movies before the acquisition, but now afterwards why not give us a special edition of The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Why not a special edition of The Last Jedi where Luke smiles the whole time? They do one of those bad CG smiles on him the whole time just to just to appease everybody, because that's all anybody wanted was a smiling Luke.
Yeah.
I hope we never see Luke Skywalker again.
And then 1,000 YouTube fans went, what?
No, there are ways that I would like to see Luke return, but I think no more Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
God bless him. But,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm over. Sure. I'm over. The character's done. He's had his say. Anyway, what were you going to say?
Never tell me the odds, James.
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds, brought to you by our wonderful Patreons who support us on patreon.com. If you want to support us, check out patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. You can check out what we have to offer, and we greatly appreciate if you want to support us. We're just 2 guys who are having a good time, and if you support us, you can hear your name in the list of the wonderful people that I am about to say. Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Stanifor, Sooner Thrawn, Scott D, Josh Price, Matt W.
Rez, that's me. Rez is not me, but Rez is Rez. Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, D. Raven Spencer, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney, Desi, Charlotte, Kayla, Davis, Aaron, Quentin, Jericho, Kane, Dana Nerds, and the Girls with Sabers.
Yeah.
That's our Patreon list. Thank you all for your support. It means a lot to us.
They're the best.
I now have working internet.
Ooh. What a time to be alive.
It's I know internet in the woods is hard to come by, but I have it now. But thank you all for your support. It really does mean a lot to us, and thank you to everybody who is joining us today. Don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe.
Smash that bell.
We need to start saying that at the beginning, but we don't. Oh, and give us a thumbs down if you don't like us.
Yeah,
jerks.
Please.
I like
come at me, bro.
I like it's usually thumbs down are based on the title. No one watches videos anymore. It's like you get.
I do the web stream for my church's liturgies on Sunday, and every once in a while, someone gives us a thumbs down. I'm like, what's going on? This is for the 100 people that go to my church. Who has the feedback on this?
Someone's just like, this is not the sermon I was looking for.
Too long, did not watch.
They didn't fire Kathleen Kennedy. It really annoys me that people know who Kathleen Kennedy and Pablo Hidalgo are. There's no need to know who either one of them are if you're just a fan of the movies.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me the most.
Yeah.
Pretending you know anything about making a movie. Well, I made a movie in my backyard and on my iPhone. And although, in fairness, it probably has 300,000 million views because these people are jackwads. And anyway, will we see a Rancor in the Cassian Andor show?
Ooh,
will a Rancor appear?
I love it because like Rancor is just like you just drop it in anything. They do it in cartoons all the time. It's just like yeah. I'm gonna go 70%.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think one of our odds today is going to be a 0% from you, but 70% is high on this one. I'm going to go 61. I'm going to go 40. I don't think they're going to do it. They should, but I don't think they will. The first shot of the first episode is a Rancor.
Sucker.
The Rancor's name is James. Because they watch this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will the Ahsoka series end in her death? Will Ahsoka die at the very end of her limited series? This is a 1-season series, Brock. Limited series by Dave Filoni. Is this the story of Ahsoka's death?
I wanted to say yes, but if it is just a limited series, like I think they can't cut it off. But I could be wrong. I'm gonna go 60%. She's too much of a beloved character that like it's just not smart.
Unless she Obi-Wan's it and there's a purpose for her death.
Yeah, I would say yes if they were gonna give her a couple seasons, right? Because I would be like, okay, we gave you Ahsoka, now this is it. But if it's only like an 8-episode run, it's like, yeah, you know, like
I'm gonna go full Brock.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, well, because it could be the story of her death. We all think it's about Thrawn and whatnot, but maybe it's just the story of her death. It's just 4 episodes of her dying slowly. Imagine like that morbid.
Imagine she was like trying to like. I don't like to throw around suicidal a lot, but it's just like she got pulled out of her normal continuity. So it's like, what does that do to a person that like, oh no, you're supposed to be not here?
Yeah, there's yeah. I mean, you could play with her, you know, psychologically for sure. And our final never telling the odds, a surprise Star Wars show, Disney Plus show announcement on May 4th. We're only just over a month and like a half away from May 4th, less than a month and a half. That's wild.
I'm gonna go full Brock on this because it's just like they should announce something on May 4th, but it doesn't mean they will.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 37. I think we're getting Bad Batch, and I think that's the day when you show us some more Andor footage or Book of Boba Fett. We talked about that last week, I think. So that's what I would guesstimate, but what do I know? I don't know anything. Let us know what your odds are in the comments below or in the live chat to whatever side the live chat's on. And or give us a message on Patreon, patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Brock, you ready for the news?
Yep. I'm always ready for the news.
I didn't get to sing last week, so I'm very excited to step it up a notch. Here we go. Hollow news, da 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 da. Hollow news, da 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 da. Hollow da 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 da. I'm gonna hit a really high note like John Travolta in Grease. Hollow, no, I'm not. Hollow news. My microphone is off.
Hollow news had me a blast. Then they announced the new Star Wars cast. Hollow news, the news you need to know right now. Well, we were just talking about it. Why don't they drop something on May 4th? We already know that we're getting the first episode of Bad Batch. There is a new trailer out, so you definitely want to check that out. But as I said, Star Wars The Bad Batch will premiere on May 4th on Disney Plus, and then be followed 3 days later on May 7th with the second episode. That's exciting. If you go to YouTube, if you've heard of it, or just Google, just Bad Batch official trailer, there is a new one out. You are going to want to check it out if you're excited for this show. And revel in the new Star Wars stuff. Our second story, apparently there's a deleted scene that completely changes the Return of the Jedi. Star Wars Return of the Jedi had one deleted scene with Luke and Darth Vader that could change how the movie goes entirely. One example of the film's deleted scene is called Vader's Arrival and Reaching Out to Luke, which can now be found on Disney+. The scene opens with Darth Vader and an Imperial Admiral talking to one another. Vader begins to chastise his lack of competence and reminds him that their failures and lack of progress won't spare them from the wrath of the Emperor, who is on his way to see them. The scene then cuts to Vader sitting in his chamber as seen in Empire Strikes Back, where he tries to call to Luke Skywalker through the Force. If this scene had not been included in the movie, it would have established Luke and Vader's connection through the Force over an hour before the audience was made aware of it in the final cut. That's talking about Empire Strikes Back.
Release the Lucas cut.
Anyways, it's on Disney Plus. I won't ruin it for you because whatever. It's there. That's cool. There's a deleted scene. I don't know how newsworthy this was, but like, or how what's the word? How new this is. Like, I'm sure maybe this has been on Disney Plus the whole time, but check it out. There's something you may have not seen. So Disney Plus, hooray! And in our final story, somebody made a snow-covered hill to look like the Razor Crest from The Mandalorian in Siberia. Yakush, Russia. The Star Wars fans in Russia have built a giant replica of the spaceship from the spin-off series The Mandalorian and installed it in the park, one of the world's coldest cities. So, you know, in this pandemic, why not have people gather in a way? The ship weighs more than a ton, says the creator Eyal Fyodorov, 28, adding that it had taken him and his cosplayer friends around 3 months to build it. The sci-fi vessel, which stands 4 meters, 13 feet tall, has been made from fiberboard, metal, and plastic foam. I originally thought this was all out of snow, but like, that's cool. They made something that you can actually stand in, and if it's cold, it's still there. Or if it's not cold, it's not there anymore. So yeah, for all of you people looking to travel, why don't you go on to Siberia and check out the Razor Crest? They said we were very motivated to make it as we were inside the TV series and rebuilding the ship. He estimated that the project cost more than 750,000 rubles, or 10,200 US dollars. So cool stuff. It's always nice to see that even in these times of disease, people are still being nerds. And this has been your Hollow News.
Nerd up, bruh.
A lot of nerd talk today.
Well, this is a Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, good point.
Top 5.
Top 5. What's top 5 today?
Oof, it's a great one. This has to do with our original topic that we never got to. Top 5 J.J. Abrams movies we'd like to see recut by top 5 characters to appear in Obi-Wan Kenobi besides Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. Top 5 characters we would like to see appear in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series coming to Disney Plus sometime in the future. Besides Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, who are confirmed. For me, number 5 is Ahsoka. We know that her limited series is about her death, so let's learn more about the character. Obi-Wan Kenobi. It might make sense for him to communicate with another Jedi, because maybe I'm thinking he might have cut himself off from the Force in some capacity. Yoda, can't be reached, so maybe Ahsoka Tano.
My number 5 is young Cara Dune, because that character is just hot right now.
It's never gonna happen.
My number 5 is going to be Hondo Ohnaka.
Yes!
Because make him live action.
My number 4 is Luke Skywalker.
Oh, Luke Skywalker?
A baby Luke. And you CG him to make him look like Baby Yoda. You just use the Baby Yoda puppet and you call him Luke. I don't know how old, but definitely a little Luke. And I would love somebody hired to kill young Luke.
Interesting. My number 4 is going to be Ahsoka. I don't know like how tight their relationship is in Clone Wars. They definitely interact a lot, but yeah, more Ahsoka. Well, I'm just trying to remember where she is in that timeline. Yeah, no, I mean that would be interesting because you're like, what exactly? How does if
She
will
might
she
be in the
interact
world
with
between
Vader
the
at all?
world.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so it's interesting how they'll have that work out if they were to do that. So
Yeah, for sure. My number 3 is Jabba the Hutt. He's already there. You might as well put Jabba the Hutt in it. I'm curious if they will ever see him again because he's a puppet and everyone prefers the puppet to the CG. And so let's do it. Bring in Jabba.
I'm gonna go with Bo-Katan for number 3
Nice.
because like Katie Sackhoff's like, well, we already have all your information, so we'll just put you in this movie or this show.
You're under contract for the next 20 years. My number 2 is the man, the myth, the legend, Bail Organa.
Oh, I didn't even think of Bail.
Jimmy Smits all the way. I don't think he will be because it sounds like in Rogue One but who knows? Jimmy Smits all the way. You bring him back. You have him. Use him.
I'm gonna get a little crazy. You're gonna think I'm gonna say Rex, but I'm not. I'm gonna say Commander Cody.
Yes, I 100%. He's not on my list, but I 100% think that Commander Cody is showing.
I don't know how you do that, but it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's got to be Cody. But Cody is nothing in comparison to my number 1.
What's your number 1?
My number 1 every week, Brock. Jar Jar Binks. Bring in Jar Jar.
Yeah.
That's it. That's number 1. Have a good show. Bye.
I'm going to shell to the fans and be like Duchess Satine. Because you know what? And you know why? Because we just watched WandaVision where like you only understand that show if you've watched all the movies. So it's like, well, we've never seen his love interest in any of the movies, but it was a kind of a big deal in the show.
I think the difference is animation and live action.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, why not? I think, people have already cast her in the show in their minds. It
would be interesting because it's like, what do you do with a guy that's just waiting in a cave in the desert? It's like, oh, look at all the things I gave up for this cause that now I'm alone in a cave for.
If he is alone in the cave.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. Yeah, anyway, let us know what your top 5 are in the comments below. I think Satine makes a lot of sense. But also, I can see how they wouldn't include Satine at all.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like, even like everyone that we mentioned, I could see. I mean, not so much my list is pretty bogus, but you're like Cody for sure. But I can see how they don't have Cody. But I don't see. I mean, I are they stormtroopers or are they still Tamora Morrison? At this point?
I don't know.
So there's a lot to factor into it. But I'm really excited. The future of Star Wars is a lot of fun as always. I don't think there's an Abrams cut. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun coming up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm excited. Like Bad Batch coming out, I'm super psyched. I don't even think I watched that trailer I've talked about. I'm like, oh yeah. So it's just like it's wild. I'm like, it was a cool concept in the original series, so I'm like, yeah, why not? So
1 month, just over a month away from that releasing. I'm guessing the first week we get 2 of them, and then it's every Friday after that, because I believe it goes, that show leads into the Loki show. Yeah, there might be overlap, but that's good. Disney Plus needs to have some overlap on their shows, like one new show and then a bunch of weird documentaries. So I haven't seen the WandaVision documentary yet. I really want to because I like those kind of things, but I haven't. I just haven't yet. So
it was pretty cool. I love, like, not to go off of Star Wars, but it's just like it happens all the time because like Kevin Smith is well known. People love his podcast, and then he has Hollywood clout that he gets people. So he had like the creator of WandaVision on, and like you sent me a link from it, like, oh, this guy said this. But comicbook.com, and Kevin Smith is aware of this, like comicbook.com literally just listens to his podcast and just harvest it for news. Like, where you're just like, this is legit. Like, you haven't reported anything. I know you can go to a press conference and you're just repeating what you've heard, but it's just like, I'm like, you just legit copied what then they leave Kevin Smith out, but then at the very end, there's like a clip of, or a link to the podcast.
That's how it works.
I'm just like, wow. So, yeah.
Well, check.
I don't know why I brought it up. It just popped into my head.
207 of the Rebel Scum podcast. We'll do it again next week.
And the week after that.
And we're going to keep going until you hate us even more than you do. He's Brock.
I'm Brock.
I'm James.
He's James.
And you were always scum.
Rebel Scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.